Right. Oh, hang on. We've gone. Oh, God, take time. Right, we're live now. Right. Welcome to my second client interview of the month. And I've got a very nervous Bipasha Dutta just sitting here. It's her first time live, so I'm going to be gentle with her. But welcome to my live show today. And hopefully you saw the first one, which was 2 weeks ago, where I'm doing a trilogy of client interviews, client success interviews, interviewing different clients who have been working with me over a period of time now, and asking them all different questions about how they found the process and what they're taking out of it from their time working with me. And today I'm welcoming my very wonderful guest from India, Bipasha Dutta, and she's very generously offered her time to come on and share her experiences with us. So, welcome to the show, Bipasha. I know you're a bit nervous. Sorry? What was that?
Thank you for inviting me.
That's my pleasure. It's always a pleasure working with you. So, we're going to jump straight into the show today because I want to. I know you've got a business appointment next after this, so you are pushed for time as well. So we're going to get straight into the questions as well today. Okay.
Okay.
I want to ask you this. I want to ask you before we actually started working together. I know we've been working together for some time now. And it's been a great time when for both of us, really, we've enjoyed working with both each other. But before we started actually working together, what areas of your life particularly do you feel that you were, struggling with, which were holding you back perhaps? What areas do you think were the main focus?
I think every area of my life I was struggling with, other than spirituality.
Sorry, say that again. Spirituality.
Other than spirituality, I was struggling with every area of my life.
Yeah.
I was, everything was wrong. The state was bad mentally, financially, socially, career-wise. Every area was just on a dump.
Yeah.
And I was just like, only thing which was good is that I was rising spiritually, or just I was just getting connected to myself more. That's the only thing that was going right.
Yeah.
But I was feeling stuck. Like I remember losing the faith in me. Like I didn't have any faith. I'm still restoring it, but I'm way better than the way I was before.
Yeah, no, I see a massive difference from when you started working with me in terms of your confidence and your faith in yourself and so on. I mean, again, when you first started, you were in a place where you weren't focused as much. You had lost that motivation. You'd been successful before, though. That's worth mentioning. It wasn't that you'd sort of lost your way in a way. That you'd been successful, and then you found.
Remember, I used to say that I don't believe that I was successful before. It just felt to me like it was a lie, it was a dream, and it was so surreal that a part of my life where I was the most successful, most happy, not happy, but at least like I felt that I'm worth something, and I felt that part was a lie, and I felt that part wasn't even there, and
So
it's
you
just
convince yourself
something.
otherwise, yeah. Even though you now know that's not the case, you were very successful and you've done very well from a very young age. That's worth mentioning. From 17 years old, you created amazing success, which a lot of people wouldn't have done at that age. So, when we actually did start, I mean, again, I think what you've mentioned before, when you didn't really have an idea of what you wanted to work on when you started working with me, because you were all over the place in different areas. But, if you did have some sort of hope or idea about what you wanted to get out of the process of working together, what was that, do you think?
I think I just wanted that belief or that faith in me to be restored. Like somewhere in me, I knew the problem is that I have lost the faith in me.
Yeah.
I've lost that faith that everything will work out someday or other. It was just like nothing will work out and everything is. I was just seeing black in my future.
Yeah, well, you just sort of know it. You just couldn't see forward at all. Yeah, I mean, I remember right back at the start, you you know, it was like you didn't think you had a future. You know, thought there was nothing in the future at all. Even though you'd been there in the past and you'd been successful, you hit a brick wall, so to speak. So it was natural that you were actually struggling with your own faith and own self-belief and confidence and everything else as well. So, and that's normal for a lot of people, I think. When you do get into some sort of rut, you find yourself stuck. And it's hard to see a way forward when you're in that sort of frame of mind. That's normal, I think, for a lot of people. So, you know, we did a lot of work at the start.
I think because I was successful, that's why that was the most problem. Because I was successful, like I was just beating myself constantly, saying that you have done this before. Why you cannot do it again? It's just like extra pressure. When you don't have anything, it's easy to build something. But like I had the bar to myself that if I need to do something, I need to go higher than my past self. So probably that was the big problem.
We create our own, you know, and again, this is what we do with our beliefs. We have limiting beliefs which hold us back because we set ourselves certain expectations, which if we don't achieve those expectations or they don't come to pass in some way, then we feel that we're not, you know, good enough, we're not achieving what we want out of those situations. And that can then lead to us losing confidence, losing our self-belief and, you know, losing sight of who we are and what we're doing, you know, and it's natural for a lot of people in that situation to feel that way when we don't achieve what we expect to achieve out of certain situations. So, you know, we did a lot of work at the beginning, I recall, identifying all the different areas, perceptions, beliefs, which were not serving you. Like we've just talked about, certain beliefs which, like, you know, I wasn't successful in certain things like that, which were not serving you as such. So how do you feel that the structure of the actual program that we've been working together on over however many months it's been now has actually helped you identify these beliefs and perceptions that weren't necessarily working for you? How do you feel that's helped you?
Well, that's a long question. So the thing is, I feel I will try to answer it differently.
Okay.
So the book that you gave me, you know, we had our own struggles with the book reaching me. So
That's
you know,
true,
it was
yeah.
just
It's
like
not easy to send out to India. I think I sent 2 of them in the end, didn't I?
so actually we lost a book in the
Yeah.
process. Remember?
Yeah,
We
I
lost a
remember.
book in the process, and then you just scanned the book, and then I had to just print it here. So, anyways, the book was super helpful. Like, you know, previously I wanted to start something else with my business, so I was super intrigued by the book. That it just helps you. Like, you don't even need a coach if you are like mindful enough and if you have that self like discipline. But that is something I was also lacking. I was lacking discipline, willpower. Like I just lost the will for life. So the book was super helpful, and then you with the process and everything, it just, you know, it just took me through a journey.
You've got a busy background there today, haven't you? No, I mean, I think with the book, I think you're right. I mean, again, this is one of the reasons why people do hire coaches, because it's so hard to stay accountable to do things. You know, if we could all just read a self-help book or something that's going to help us guide us forward in a way and implement those changes and things into our lives, it'd be so much easier. But the problem is we're human beings, and when we live our lives, things get in the way of that, such as beliefs, such as mental, you know, attitudes and perceptions and things like that, which stop us seeing things in a certain way. Now, if you're, you know, working with a coach, as you know, that helps you see things from a different level of energy, which helps you stay at a more balanced way of seeing things more consistently. And the book, really, all of that does is it gives you that structure to revert back to if you need to, you know. And so if you find yourself going off track in some way, it's good to have that sort of there in the background to sort of rely on or revert to if you need to. And so I think with you as well, I mean, you've been very committed, open-minded and dedicated pretty much to doing all of that. So in your case, I mean, having that book there, like you just said, you don't necessarily need a coach if you're that tuned into this stuff, that you can just literally pick the book up when you need to. If you're self-aware enough to do that, then, you know, that's great, because then you can pick it up and say, well, actually, I'm not thinking in the way that I want to be. I don't feel the way that I want to be, and my actions aren't where they want to be. What do I need to be telling myself in this situation in order to create the actions that I really want to be creating? And you're doing that. And that's why you are so great as a client, because you are very open-minded. You are very committed to doing the work on yourself. And that makes a massive difference. Now, what would you say to anybody who is perhaps starting out or considering starting out on working on themselves and doing this sort of stuff and working on the process, particularly with themselves, perhaps, if they're looking to sort of invest into this process? I mean, at the start, because like you said, I mean, it takes work. It takes, you know, you've got to be open-minded to do this stuff in the first place. Otherwise, you won't make any progress. But what would you say to anyone starting out for the first time with no real clue about what to expect?
I don't know if I was open-minded or anything, but I think I trusted you.
Not many people do. I'm joking. Yeah, but yeah, I think you were open-minded, because I mean, you might, again, I think you are very self-critical at times, but I think, you know, from my perspective, the fact that you were very open to learning new things shows that you're open-minded, and you were. You know, there's a lot of people who will resist that sort of thing, or, you know, stick with what they think is true, their beliefs, and not want to move forward because they, you know, their limiting beliefs tell them it's not going to work or whatever. But I think with you did have that open-mindedness.
I think I always believed one thing in life, that like your mindset is really important if you want to do anything special or anything different in your life. So I always believed in working in my brain, like not like that, always focusing on mind and not producing any physical action, but just yeah, the mind is more important to me. But then I also value the physical action, so that's why I wanted to go, take the sessions with you. I trusted you, obviously, more than anyone, so that's why I went to you. And also, I also believed one thing, that faith is more important. Faith is powerful to me, and I could feel that I lost the faith. I lost the faith in my ability, and I knew the problem, but I just couldn't find the answer. Like normally, if I just can find a problem, I would be able to find the answer real quick. But only in this case, I just couldn't find the answer. That
Yeah.
how I could restore faith in me. Like I think every week I will come up and I will say, it's still not happening, still not happening. Like and you also have that process where you go through, certain questionnaires, and at the end I get the answer. But it was the only thing that I couldn't get the answer for a long period of time. But it just came probably after
I
one
remember
or
it. Yeah, it was like a
two.
light bulb moment, wasn't it? And you just sort
Yeah,
of wake up. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
the answer came when I was having a shower. Remember? And then right after that, we had a session, and then I said, I feel that I found the answer.
Yeah. Well, this is
Yeah.
how. This is why this. I love that when that happens, because it happens. You know, when you do have that breakthrough moment where you just suddenly free yourself up mentally from all the things that have been holding you back, and suddenly see a way forward, and it's like you found the golden nugget, and it is
Mm.
great. And that's why faith, like I put up there, is more powerful than proof, because a lot of the time we question things, we're cynical about stuff, and we stop ourselves seeing a bigger picture because we're too busy stuck in our entrenched beliefs and thoughts that we don't necessarily allow ourselves to see anything other than those. And if we're stuck in those beliefs and attitudes, that's when we get, we're less able to see ways forward, opportunities, possibilities. Instead, we're only seeing restrictions, problems, reasons why we can't do things. And I think in your case there, you were in that state of mind where you were only ever seeing the reasons why you can't be successful. You weren't
Mm.
seeing the reasons why you can, and all the wonderful things about yourself which created success in the first place. You're only seeing the things that you didn't like about yourself and the things that you didn't want to be happening, and that stopped you seeing and having faith in yourself. And then you broke through that and you started seeing things differently. So tell me now, I mean, as I've just put up there, we are each a product of our own belief system now. And that fits in
Yeah.
with what we're saying there, because we create everything that happens to us in our lives with our beliefs, with our attitudes, with our assumptions, and whatever it is that we choose to think and believe creates our reality. So if you're creating beliefs that restrict you in some way or hold you back in some way or only show you part of the picture, it's less likely that you're going to see anything that's constructive moving forward. So in your certain situation, what changed in terms of your own belief system after you had that breakthrough moment, do you think?
So previously, I was just looking at everywhere where people were losing jobs, people weren't able to find, good income, and I was just relating myself to them. I was relating myself to everyone who was a failure, and I was thinking I'm a failure too. And after that, like not right after that, but it's gradually I started to see the way I used to see before. Like I used to look at myself uh, different from others, and that's what I'm doing right now. I'm focusing on more how much I can do and what possibilities and opportunities are there, not how much opportunity we are losing. I'm focusing on how much opportunity we are generating and how people who are successful, and I'm taking inspirations from them again, like I did before that. But I'm happy that everything is
Yeah.
coming back to me now.
Yeah, I mean, and you are, so much more confident, so much more driven in your actions. I think before, I mean, you're struggling even to wake up in the mornings at times. I mean, we were like, you're saying, I'm not used to this because I used to be so motivated to get out of bed and do work and whatever, and then you just became, in your own words, lazy. You lost sight of the things that you want, and that's normal as well, because I think when we're in that state of mind where we've lost sight of where we're going and what we're doing in life, and we start questioning ourselves, we lose focus on our own abilities, what we can do, and we start thinking that we're not good enough, I'm stuck here, I can't move forward. And then you look around yourself at your circumstances or circumstances in the world around you, and all you see is what's wrong with the world, which is another thing that so many people do, which restricts us moving forward, whether it's COVID, whether it's poverty, whether it's whatever it is. We can easily look at our circumstances around us and use them as reasons why we can't be successful. The cost of living crisis that's going on around the world at the moment, it's another reason why we can all say, well, there's no point me trying because I'm not going to be successful. So what's the point? If we think like that, we won't be successful. And so, it's important to have your own mind, your own beliefs and own attitudes, and create the feelings, the emotions which create the actions. And if you're not performing at a consistently productive level in that area, then you won't create the action. Simple as that. So, what's in terms of where you are now, then, and what you're doing now with your life, and you're starting to really create some momentum now. You're building. You've got to get off here today because you've got a business meeting straight after here. So there's a lot of things going on for you now, and you're starting to really build on that. It's been a slow starting process because you've had to do the work on yourself, and that takes time. So it's not, and no one's a finished product, but it takes time. But what do you think the difference in between when we started was and where you are now, in terms of your own productivity generally, is over day-to-day period?
Okay, I will give you an example.
Okay.
If I had a meeting now, and I had a live stream now and a meeting right after that, a potential business meeting right after that. If I was, if it was 3 months ago, I would have cancelled this live stream, and I would have went to the business meeting instead, because I would have thought that it wouldn't be possible for me to attend the both, and or I you know it's not possible, but I wouldn't find the confidence to attend the both, or probably I would reschedule a business meeting as well, because I would thought like maybe I need to prepare myself a little, or I need to do
Overthinking.
something else, or I would just avoid the opportunities.
Yeah.
So but now I'm coming to a live meeting for the first time, and then right after that I'm going to another meeting, and then I have another I'm doing the work, day to day business work that I need to do in order to work on myself, my career, and still I'm managing my nephew. The time management
Yeah.
is working out. So yeah, I think everything is
I
perfectly
think
fine.
time management was one of the areas that you were lacking in at the start, if I remember rightly. Right at the start when we started working together, and you certainly have improved on that now. I mean, that's just something, and you have got a lot on your plate. I mean, even without work, you've still got a lot to do. Like you just touched on with your nephew, you've got, a lot of responsibilities that you have to adhere to. So, having that and juggling that and being successful in doing that is not an easy thing to do, but you are doing that, and that's a change that you've got to be proud of, because you've done that. You've put the work in. You're the one who's doing it day on day. So again, I mean, if you invest into a process like this, I can help you. You've got the client book workbook, which you get and all the clients get. There's lots of different elements to the process that we work.
Mm,
It's not an easy process. It takes time and it takes work and it takes a lot of implementation day to day to make this a successful, sustainable outcome. But your evidence that it does work and it does happen over time. And as the more work you put in yourself, the more you get out of it. And that's what you're showing now, I think. So, if you were to, if anyone like was in your situation when you first started, perhaps lost faith in themselves, didn't have the confidence, wasn't really sure of which direction their life was going in, had a bit of an inclination to perhaps try and do something differently, but didn't really know what, and didn't really want to, take a risk on something like that. What would you say to that sort of person?
mm. I'll say, even though you think that it's not possible, you are just seeing blank to your future. You're just um, just looking at your future and just not seeing anything.
Mm,
But if you have the slightest hope or slightest desire to turn around everything, and again, or not again, for not everyone it will be a again case, but for me it was that, make my life successful again. Just go for it, and you wouldn't see how it will happen, but it will happen. So, and that's the beauty of it, that you don't know that it's going to happen. So that's when the surprise comes in.
mm. No, you're right. And again, it's about having faith at the start, I think, because and I said this in my previous interview with my other client, it's exactly the same thing. When we start anything new, we don't, unless it's not like you're buying a product in a shop, which you know what you're getting from the outset. You don't. It's and so much of it is dependent on what you put in rather than what you can't. It's not like you're paying the money and then you're getting a guaranteed result, because you're not. It's about what you put in just as much as what anything else. But what you and my client before show is that when you do put that work in and you are consistent with that, you do get the results. And I think that's clear for anyone to see, because it's the hardest thing, I think, for any of us when we start out in a process like this, is having the faith in ourselves to adhere to the process. We find reasons not to do it. We see cost. We see, see the value, because we're seeing it from a perspective which has already held us back in the first place. So, I'm conscious of the time because I know you've got a business meeting, but, before we do end, is there anything else that you'd like to add about your time working together, or is there anything you think, people would like to know about the process that we haven't mentioned here so far?
So the thing is, even though if you're successful, or even though you think that you don't need a coach, you don't, I'm okay, I don't need this kind of things or stuff like that, you need people. You need people to whom you can go to and say, just say everything that's going on in your life, even to just to share, and that works out tremendously. And that just takes the load out of your mind, and just frees you from the worries, frees you from that. Like, at least you can say that, this happened, this happened, this happened, and then I felt bad, and then Mark can come in and say, okay, why you're feeling bad, and then he will go through his questionnaires, and then you will find the answer, and your life will be certainly way better than you are leading right now. So if you have slightest interest in improving your life, maybe you should go for it.
I like the way, I mean, one thing you did highlight there, which I'd like to, is that I don't have the answers. You have the answers. I asked the
Mm.
question to get you to find the answer within you. It's my job. So you ask on that because a lot of people don't understand. I think it's me just giving you advice and right, what you want to do is this, that, and the other. No. It's about me asking you questions to help you think in a certain way, to help you find the answers within you. And that's why it's so powerful, because we've all got the answers to our problems in our own minds, but sometimes we can't see them because our minds are too clouded by all the other stuff that's going on in there, all the limiting beliefs, the assumptions, the fears, the worries, the stress, this, that, and the other. And so we don't see the solutions to our own issues and problems in life. And what coaching helps you to switch all of that stuff off and see things with a bit more clarity, so that you're able to find the solutions for your own issues and challenges in life yourself. And that's why it's so empowering. It's so positive in helping us move forward with our life. So I want to thank you so much for coming on today. I know you're pushed for time. You're busy all the time now, but thank you for coming on and being so open and honest. And I can look forward to continue working with you.
Well, I'm looking forward to continue to work with you too, and thank you for everything.
Thank you very much. And thank you for everybody who's watched today. There's quite a few people tuning in live, I could see. And if you want to watch this later, you haven't been able to watch it all in live today, and you touched in, you're at work or whatever, you can catch it live, the recording on YouTube, Facebook, or LinkedIn later on. And if you are on YouTube watching it, please drop me a like and a subscribe, because it helps the algorithm share my show to more people, so more people get to see it. And thank you for joining me. I'll be back in another 2 weeks with another client. So join me for that. Okay. Thanks, everybody, and goodbye.
Okay,
I have to
bye-bye.
learn how to turn the thing off. Bye. I don't know how to